What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys a Wednesday edition of my NBA DFS podcast. We have a couple teams that are hurt with injuries and resting tonight that we certainly need to take advantage of. I'll make sure I mention to you guys those two teams I have in mind, and just tell you guys my favorite value play at each position as I normally do. We got some pretty chalky plays tonight. Tough you can only pick four guys on this certain team because there's a lot of good value plays with their two studs being out. This team being the Spurs, who are resting DeRozan and Aldridge. I find this very annoying because this game is the late game. It's a nationally televised game in Golden State. People are paying to see, the stars come out and play. They're looking for a close game. And now all of a sudden this game is a 15.5 point spread. And there's a good chance we don't see these Warriors players play in the fourth quarter, which is nothing the Warrior fans want to see. I find it very annoying that Popovich does this. I really don't believe in resting players. I understand the concept of it. But I just think it's absolutely absurd seeing as these guys get paid millions of dollars to stay in shape and be able to play 82 games in a season. Not too much to ask for, in my opinion. So, point guard tonight. We're going to take advantage of the Spurs value. Brian Forbes and Patty Mills. Can I tell you which guy's going to score more tonight? No. They're both basically in the same exact position. Mills is probably going to come off the bench, but they're going to see equal usage, equal playing time, and I don't hate it if you play both of them at your point guard spot tonight. Forbes is a pretty good play even when DeRozan and Aldridge is playing. Derek White is out, the other point guard for the Spurs, so this will leave all the duties to Forbes and Mills. I think Forbes is a nice lock for over 20 fantasy points, as is Patty Mills tonight. So look at those guys at your point guard position tonight when spending down. For shooting guard, who's my shooting guard? There's not too many good plays tonight, honestly. You could look at Bellinelli with no DeRozan. You could look at Jamal Crawford with no Devin Booker. But as far as spending up goes, if you can squeeze Harden in there, maybe. 14,000 is a lot, though, especially with Paul playing, and Eric Gordon is questionable, so we'll see if he's playing. But he does have an ideal matchup against the Kings. I hate the Kings. I actually don't hate them. I love them because of how bad they are, but I hate their defense. It's really bad. Harden could easily get an 80-point spot tonight, but I don't know how safe it is. I like Harden a lot more on DraftKings. I think he's like 12,600 on DraftKings. A far more manageable price there over on DraftKings if you play that as well. Small forward, I think you want to spend up on Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. 11.9 is a pretty fair price. I think he's a pretty safe play to get over 50, towards 60 fantasy points tonight. He absolutely dominates the Wizards. The Wizards have such a bad D, especially against Antetokounmpo. It's like a hot knife going through butter. I think he's just going to slice that defense open. He's just too much for them to handle. The only risk in playing him is it is a 12-point spread in favor for the Bucks, so maybe they blow them out, but I don't think that's very likely. I think Antetokounmpo, if they're up like 25, 30 points heading into the fourth quarter, it'll mainly be because of Giannis bringing them there. So either way, you should have a really good chance at getting over 50 fantasy points tonight. In my opinion, a really safe stud to pay up for tonight. Power forward, I don't think this guy's getting talked about too much right now from what I've seen. I think Bagley's a good GPP play. He just had a 50-burger. Rockets are a really good matchup. I think he could go off. He's got a really good ceiling. But I'm looking at Josh Jackson tonight. The Suns could get blown out against the Jazz with no Devin Booker and TJ Warren. But either way, the Suns are very young and they're going to play their guys basically no matter what. So I think Jackson's going to get over 30 minutes, whether it's a blowout or not in this game. And he should see next to the most usage next to Ayton tonight with no Booker on the court. Jackson's been playing really well. If you look at his game log, it's pretty consistent. 6,400 is a pretty fair price for him. He has 25 real points in back-to-back games. He's coming into this game with a nice offensive rhythm, so I think he's a pretty fair price, even with a tough matchup against the Jazz. The usage is going to be there tonight. He's going to be starting. I think he's a pretty solid play. Power forward's a really hard position tonight, so unless there's other news later on, I think Jackson is a top power forward value tonight. And then centers, you want to spend down here, whether it's on Pau Gasol or Jakob Poeltl. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure which one is going to get more points. They're both in really good spots at minimum price. I'm thinking Poeltl gets a couple more minutes than Gasol just because Gasol's, older. The reason, like I said earlier, is there's no Aldridge tonight, so someone's going to have to fill in that void. Poeltl should probably start. Maybe Gasol comes off the bench and is a little more productive, but really hard to tell. I think you got to go with one of these guys as a punt play at center tonight. And if you don't want to go that route and you want to spend up, I think Jokic is a really strong stud. This is just on two completely opposite ends of the spectrum here. You got Poeltl and Gasol at 3,500 and then Jokic at 10,800. But the upside that Jokic presents tonight in Brooklyn is far to none. I think it's just not even comparable to anyone else. He's just such a versatile player. I think he could go off tonight in Brooklyn. Jarrett Allen should have a really, really hard time covering him around the perimeter. He's just far more elusive and a lot quicker than Allen is. And Allen is also a young guy, so he should be able to take advantage of his inexperience tonight. So Jokic, a really strong play. If we didn't have such crazy value punt plays with the Spurs big men, I would say Jokic is an easy lock in cash games, especially because his price went down. But with those Spurs guys at 3,500, tough to pay up for Jokic. But keep an eye on him if you're looking for a nice tournament play there. That'll sum up today's video, guys. I appreciate you. As always, I am the FT Guru, and I am signing off. See ya.